Hey yo, what's decent? My first day back ever since I moved into my new apartment, and I got a hell of a crazy match for you guys. This is nuts. My opposition is going to lead out with Galvantula. This is a mixed battle, by the way, so we have OUs and underused and a whole bunch of stuff going around here. He's going to have a modest Galvantula, hence my Thundurus being able to outspeed it and 2-hit KO with the Thunderbolt. And that's also another thing that I want to show you guys, is that just because something is not very effective against a particular Pokemon does not mean that it is actually not a good idea. In this case scenario, Thunderbolt, despite Galvantula resisting it, was able to two-shot the Galvantula. So now in comes his Perugly. I'm just going to switch out to my Deoxys because my Deoxys has the Rocky helmet and he shows me Swagger. So my first day back and this guy has a banned move. That's pretty awesome. Not complaining, but you know, I could probably go walk around it. Hopefully Swagger won't allow myself to smack myself in confusion, but what I really was aiming for was getting off the paralysis on the Perugly. So now he goes for the Shadow Claw, inflicting some damage intended for my Deoxys. I'm just going to go for the knockoff and knock it out. I knew Perugly would have been able to be knocked out from that range amount of HP, and at the same time, if he decided to switch, then I would knock out whatever item from whatever Pokemon came in. Now in comes his Porygon 2. He goes straight for the obvious Thunderbolt, and I was like, you know something, that wasn't a smart play on my behalf because I knew Thunderbolt was coming, but I thought just because Thunderbolt was so blatantly obvious that he would actually go for the Ice Beam, predicting my Thundurus to come into play, and then go for the Volt Absorbent to absorb all that damage that Porygon 2 can potentially inflict onto the Kingler. But that's not the case. I should have actually went out into Deoxys right here and now, good enough the paralysis, and then afterwards knock it out with the King. I could have actually brought in Kingler, save Kingler for a little bit later on, but that's beside the point right now because I'm able to paralyze it, or rather paralyze it. Wow, I'm able to paralyze it, go for the confusion as well, and also get off a nice little Stuff Rocks as well as Spikes, as well as knock off his Eviolite. So Deoxys did quite a number onto the Porygon 2. So now I'm going to Parafuse it, hopefully that he doesn't go for an attack. He's able to break through an attack and at the same time catch the freeze on my Regigigas. So now he's going to take full advantage of that, go into his Talonflame. I'm just going to go for a Focus Punch. Hopefully I thought I do, but unfortunately because I don't have any attack investments on this Regigigas, it's not an attacking one, it's a defensive one, and at the same time because Talonflame does resist Focus Punch, it's not going to be able to inflict anything onto it. So my train of thought is I'm thinking that he's going to go for the Roost, hence me, instead of going for the knockoff, I decided to go for the Thunder Wave so that when he goes for the Brave Bird, I can just go for the knockoff and get some inflicted damage onto it more so, and I'll have a paralyzed Talonflame looking on me on the other side of the field. But that's not the case as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, which dwindles down my attack, and he goes for the Brave Bird, which is not going to knock me out, but at the same time my Regigigas is going to survive, and I am going to finally get my act together, which is completely useless at this point because I'm slowed down thanks to the Sticky Web and my attack has been cut thanks to the burn. So that's quite a bit of irony. And to add insult to injury, in comes the Salamence, goes to the Dragon Pulse after intimidating my Regigigas. So just a useless hunk of junk right there. So now in comes my Hitmontop. I'm just gonna go for the obvious Ice Punch. Even though I know he has like melodic and stuff, I am still gonna go for that because I don't mess around with threat. He could easily be like Specs or something. You know, I don't know. You know, 2 Dragon Pulses or something like that would be probably more than enough to knock out my Hitmontop because my Hitmontop is an attacking set. So he scores a burn before I set up the substitute because I am a self-focused puncher, and that greatly disappointed me. I was like, no. So not only has he been able to inflict a burn, which is a little bit more legit because he went for the Will-O-Wisp, but now this burn, and he shows me Hydro Pump. So he has Scald and Hydro Pump on a melodic. So that's crazy. I'm just going to hit this thing with the Focus Punch, and that still does quite a bit of damage despite me being burned. So that is not really looking good for my Hitmontop. I'm just going to go for an underprotected Focus Punch. Hopefully he does miss. I wasn't even counting on that. I was just like, yo, you know what, Hitmontop is completely useless at this point. I'm just going to go for an underprotected Focus Punch. I didn't even expect it to connect. Wow, that was crazy. And that was freaking helpful too. So now I'm just going to change it up and go for the Ice Punch, and he goes for the Scald, and which is 100% accurate. He can't afford me to hit another Focus Punch, which is understandable. And now in comes my Victreebel, and I am just going to go for the Stockpile. Now keep in mind, this Victreebel is a belt set. It is Stockpile, Resto, Chesto, Belch, as well as Leaf Tornado. It is something that I quite just made up at the last minute, and I have not had a chance, listen to this, to EV train it. It has 0 EV investments, living a Choice Specs Fire Blast coming from a mess. Well, it's not stat, but at the same time, he lived it. And he's gonna take another one, living with just a smidgen amount of HP left over. I'm just gonna retaliate with a Belch, because I just wanted to use that move. I just wanted to use Belch. You know, before I die, I want to use that move, Belch. And I end up killing the Solomons with no EV investments. That is bananas. What is that? So now in comes his Melodic, and he's going to go for the Scald, and Scald obviously is going to be able to knock out my Victreebel to crit the even matter right there. Victreebel again has no EVs, nothing. So I'm going to bring in my Thundurus, which is my last Pokemon, go for the Thunderbolt, easily knock out the Melodic. Thankfully, Thundurus is airborne, so he's not affected by the Sticky Web. And now I'm just going to go for the Focus Punch, or rather Focus Blast, because Focus Blast should be able to knock it out. I'm not able to connect, and this is it. Boom! I'm able to hit the Focus Blast, and I'm able to knock out the Porygon too. So that was definitely a great game. I definitely did have a lot of fun. Viewers, do not forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Peace! What you doing?